Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What the hell? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Are we on?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, we on.
All right then. I see what happens when you keep messing with Russia, but hey, who am I? I tried to tell you.
They ain't gonna catch me this time. I got something for them.
We're gonna see. We are gonna see. We are most definitely gonna see. I think they cut me off.
I ain't scared of them.
What up? What up, Ali?
Uh-huh.
You know, man, golly, you know what? Let me get myself together. Because they gonna be like, you don't own the rights to that music. You don't own the rights to that music. Okay. We're gonna do it like this today.
I like that.
I don't own the rights to this music. But I got another thing. Hold on. I need to get myself together. Whenever the drink out, I'm forever Southside. Some say I'm boring because I like to play Nas around 3 in the morning. Hand on my wood grain, turn it up that bug like somewhere around 9-4 was dropping thug like scratching in Scarface, one plots and schemes, made a track with some legends. Shout out to Willie, he told me never stop the dream. I'm keep walking to the cream, from the cradle to the grave. I'm whatever Houston need. I'm not cocky, I'm not mean, I'm sitting stocky on 19. AMG kid it, niggas knocking, but I'm clean. I'm like Rocky in the ring, or hockey when he swing. Pulling up in that brand new big body, look at me. I'm nice on this beat, but I'm better in your bitch. I think I might let her ride with me on the swing. Hey, what's up, good people? It is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Come through, Shawnee.
P stand for petty all the time. Twice on Sunday, 3 times on Monday. With my co-host today.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, Ghost Chase Killer. And we about to do it big time. I figured it out. The Russians was giving me with facial recognition. So this is how I'm going to duck them and dodge them. I got to come from this undisclosed location. And after this, I'm on the move. But we got some things to talk about tonight.
Long and short at the same time.
Yes, sir.
So I get it. So, man, what do we have today? Before we get started, because I know we got a great show lined up for everybody. Before we get started, I want everybody to know that I'm talking to Texas when I say this. I'm talking to Texas. Let me give a big shout out to the one and only, the Prairie View A&M University, with their victory over TS who? I don't know. Yeah, somebody.
Who? They probably should have had the Ghost Chase Killer on their side because it got ugly.
Because we started off slow, but then we put the soldiers in, and Mr. DeWanye Tucker with almost 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. That
boy's a beast.
Almost 1,000 yards passing in this one game alone. Big up to them boys. I'm a proud alum. Shout out to the football team. Shout out to and because
no doubt.
Storm came through on Saturday and Sunday. That is the marching storm, that is. And they showed out at the Battle of the Bands. Prairie View A&M University, the Prairie View A&M University, PVAMU.
Way to go. Congratulations. Another Labor Day classic in the books with a W. Ghostface Killer. What we
Yes,
got
sir.
today?
Well,
Where you want to
I got dual purpose. Uh-oh. Let me get my equipment together. I
Hey,
told you I'm in an undisclosed location, so I got to make sure that
make sure your
they
IP
don't.
vanisher is still on, because they might be trying to track you.
No,
Okay.
we good. We
All
good.
right.
We good. But what they've been tracking me with is facial
Gotcha.
recognition. So I had to just switch it up on them real quick. And so after this, they won't be able to find me anymore. I promise
Already.
you that. But man, I guess this is a tough one for me to start
What?
with. Um, I'm surprised that it haven't gone around as much as I thought it would, as far as the way these stories go. But I don't know. In the day today, it just popped up in the news. I guess a guy I looked up to as a young actor when I used to get on that stage, Malik Yoba, uh, was considered a heartthrob. Most of his career, I know women went crazy over him, and I guess stories come out that the brother has admitted via Instagram that he's attracted to trans women. Trans attracted is what he says. He calls himself cis heterosexual, CIS. I'm still learning what that means. Apparently, it's um, a term that um, gay or transgender people use towards straight people who are basically identified with the genitalia that they're born with. I'm really not sure what the joke is there or how that applies. I'm just sharing what I found out so far in my brief research. But apparently, Mr. Yopa has come out. Um, it came out on the internet that he was um, attracted to trans women or had been with trans women, so he admitted it. I have no problem with that. I commend the brother for stepping up and revealing his own truth. I know that it's not an easy thing to do. I'm sure. I guess I don't know. I mean, my thoughts are that's not an easy thing to do when you have the stature that he's had. Um, but then right behind that, another story comes out that the reason that he did this is because he knew that a story was going to come out that not only did he like transgender women, he liked underage transgender women. With one alleging that he had relations with her when she was 13 and then again when she was 16. So my question to you is, because he put out a long statement. He promoted a transgender march that's going to happen in DC in November, I believe he said. And so I'm kind of torn on where to go with this one, because my first question is, are we in a place where it's time to accept trans lifestyles as the normal part of life, and it shouldn't? I mean, I guess what I'm saying is, should it even be a topic at this point? Um, I think the point he was making is that when people don't understand things, they say it's wrong. I thought it was wrong for a different reason personally. I also don't understand it. Uh, but are we making too much of a big deal with the LGBTQ community, and in particular the trans community?
Are we asking the petty DJ Don P? Are we asking the? Let me take that back. Are we asking the petty 2 times DJ Don P or petty 3 times DJ?
We asking. You know what? I want you to just give me an answer. If you want to give me multiple answers or two multifaceted answer, that's fine. I want to have this conversation and see what we come up with on Plain Talk
Well,
Propaganda.
the DJ Don P stands for petty says that um remain 2 months said it twice on says that I don't know why he can't, because if you doing it with somebody, not a secret anymore. The DJ
So you kind of broke up. Can you
Oh,
run
okay.
that
Let me
again?
come.
I had a little wardrobe
The,
malfunction.
I got you. The DJ Don P stands for petty, says that we're making too much of this. The DJ Don P stands for petty twice on Sunday says he did it with somebody else, so it's really not a secret. I don't know why he thinks he's coming out with a secret when you've had a relationship with somebody. They done already told him. Ain't no secret no more. The DJ Don P stands for petty twice on Sunday, 3 times on Monday says it's very ironic that he played on a show called New York Undercover, and now he's coming out with this undercover brother story. Man,
So let me ask you this. Well, I asked. That's what I'm really trying to get down to. Are we making too much of a big deal of it? Is it now time just to accept that trans is a way of life, and we need to move on? Because I guess what I'm asking is, it seems like at every turn of the corner, there's another reason for trans people to be in the spotlight. I mean, they're leading our show off. And with that being said, I have my own thoughts, but I actually found myself, after listening to him, I found myself wondering, should we just leave it alone? Because here's my thing. I feel like, you can do whatever you want to do. Look, I'm not perfect. There's things that, I don't want nobody to know about me, from my current, my past, and probably in the
right.
future. Nobody's perfect, right? We all, we know how it goes. We all are sinners, but I don't want to get religious. What I want to do is say, for example, if a guy like Malik Yoba, again, a leading black actor in Hollywood for definitely much of the 90s and early
Right.
2000s, comes out and says that, hey, you need to just leave people alone, let them be who they are. It's not that big of a deal, and really take the internal reflection, which is something I've shared plenty of times on this show. When a guy like that says it, I guess what I'm saying is, so I don't know, if a guy like Denzel Washington came out and said that, or Michael Jordan came out and said that, would we be more accepting and just say, okay, it's time to just move on, or would we roast them too? I guess I'm trying to figure out,
Look,
at what
it's
point
like
does it either stop or go
nothing's
ahead.
gonna stop, because the world is a circle. The earth is not flat. The earth is round, Kyrie. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that goes around is gonna come back around. If that's what you do, that's what you do. If you feel like you gotta explain yourself to the world to be accepted, I don't think him coming out is gonna make people go back and watch New York Undercover differently. I don't think now it might be some people looking at Empire like, that's why he on there. Because Justice Smollett or whatever,
Juicy smooth
okay,
yay. We're
that's what
gonna
his
get
name.
on that
Juicy.
too.
I knew it.
Juicy smooth
Juicy
yay.
Smollett
The
on
French
there,
actor.
and other people. Like, I am right now. I am 40 years old. We have been dealing with homosexual people, from my standpoint, since the beginning of my time. Not the beginning of time, but the beginning of my time. I go back. One of my favorite shows to watch was Spartacus, because I like Greek mythology. I like fight scenes. I'm an action movie, action TV show type guy. It was a lot of homosexuality in that TV show. When I first saw it caught me off guard. I was like, Then I was like, you know what? They talked about this in books before. How the religious, you are more of a man if you slept with a man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right. I think it was an Olympic sport in the early
from
Greek days.
somebody said Juicy. You said Smollett.
Juicy smooth yay. Juicy smooth yay.
Appreciate it. So if that's how they were taught back then. If that is the teaching, and I'm not a religious buff. I was raised in a religious home where I was taught about God, about the Bible, about Jesus, but it never was an in-depth conversation where I had to sit down, study, and you can't eat until you finish that book. Never was nothing like that. But
I can't say that.
That's something that's been around. Now, what
Yeah.
happens is, like with drugs and with everything else, man comes into play and start putting his own spin on it. Now you trying to tell me that instead of me being heterosexual or homosexual, now I'm cisgender, bisexual.
Right.
I have so many labels from other people. I don't know who I am right now, according to them. But unfortunately for them, I know how to read, and I got my brain. I don't use anybody else's brain. I use an idea, but I won't use your brain. So for him to come out and explain himself now, at the age he's at, somebody already knew he was doing it. Some people who saw the confession was like, "Mama, I apologize. Nigga, we already know you were doing it." So I don't get why it's such an issue, but I do understand that it will affect some of his money, possibly. It may help him in the long run. But I don't, like you asked, if Denzel came out and said, would it be an issue? I think it would be accepted more if Denzel would do it, but there will also be a lot of pushback if Denzel said it because of how high we hold certain people.
Okay, so that's why I asked, because what makes it more acceptable for him to say it? Because here's what I'm saying to you. I guess when you start talking about like the Pandora's box, which one of the accusers of Malik Yoba term that they used in talking about his whole admission. So if it's more acceptable for the next man to say it or the next woman to say it, why don't we just accept it now? And
it's divided. It'll be, no matter what, there's going to be someone that's going to accept it, and there's someone that doesn't accept it. So it's not like it'll be more accepted. It'll probably be more accepted personally. But in the end of the day,
got you.
I read a story on Facebook that says woman is in secret Facebook group of neo-Nazis and gets fired from a job. First off, fool! It ain't no secret. It's on Facebook. Like, we get caught up in labels so much, it's a secret. Look, it's on the internet. Ain't no secrets on the internet. Other than the one I'm looking at.
That's true.
To my other side right here, that's a secret. Ghost Chase Killer is a secret. His location is most definitely. But
absolutely,
P stand for petty twice on Sunday, 3 times on Monday. It's telling you, hey man, it sure is ironic that you coming out and you played on New York Undercover and you coming up from under that cover. What I feel is that it is a play on a movement that's already happening, and a play on becoming relevant again. Even though he's not irrelevant, he's not Malik Yoba, New York Undercover, under them covers, relevant, but he's most definitely been on other shows like Empire and the other things that have been around, on a couple of movies too. So, man,
and so I guess for me,
he's an actor. So I wouldn't even be surprised if it's an act. Because
I don't think it's an act though. It take a whole lot to act that out in real life. You know what I'm saying? The stigma that comes with it, all that. I don't think there's any acting to it. What I do agree with you that it could be a play for attention more than acting. Maybe an opportunity for more acting pieces. But I guess when I start looking at it, I start thinking about do you really want to be a celebrity? Do you really want to be in Hollywood? Because when you start looking at some of the things you hear about Hollywood, you hear, a lot of these men are undercover, they're down low, this, that, the other, right? And I guess the one side of me, the reason that I wanted to have this conversation, because what I'm actually trying to do is find a way to become more tolerant. I think I've told you from our very early podcast, I've been called homophobic. You know, I've been called, you know, prejudiced towards, and that's not the truth. The truth is I don't agree with it as a lifestyle, but I've also evolved a little bit to say it's not my fucking place to tell somebody what
Right.
lifestyle to live, because there are other straight people that don't agree with the lifestyle I live as a straight man. You understand what I'm saying? There are family members that don't agree with the life I live as a family man, right? There are people in the church that don't agree with the way that I worship. And I think that for me, what I'm starting to get to, and as I think about it, I put myself in the scenario and I say, you know what? Maybe it's time to step back and say, you know what? Get out of other folks' business. Because that's really what this boils down to. And that's probably the part of it that I least like, you know, especially when you talk about that trans community, because if you really want to know my problem with the trans community, it's only two things. The first is there's a group of them that don't want to admit that they're trans, and they, you know, unknowns to other, you know, the guys that they're with, at least from the trans, you know, man to woman, they're with guys, and then the guys find out later, and you got guys that are in jail because they went back and killed them. The story today that came out, this guy, the whole reason Malik Yoba stepped up, this guy committed suicide after he found out, you know, the woman he was with was a
Right.
trans, right? And I can't say I don't agree with why he did it, because yeah, that would send me for a whole loop. Now, I'd like to, again, as I previously stated, I feel like you should know. But the science, the advances in surgery, you know, I had a spirited conversation with a close family member, and the statement was, look, sometimes you can't tell. You know, you really
Right.
can't tell. And I was, you know, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, you can
But
tell, you know, but when you out in the
we also
club
talking about the
drinking,
naked, talking about
huh?
the naked eye.
Well, it ain't just about the naked eye, though. I mean, I think that there's just a certain way that God made a woman, and you just know that it's a woman. The most unattractive woman is still
Somebody say
attractive.
like,
If you understand what I'm saying,
somebody say that's because
huh?
you all the women.
What? No, it ain't that. It's just that. It's just no. But I'm trying to make a
No,
serious
but
point here. They don't
right,
disclose it, and then they puts people who don't have an intent of doing anything homosexual in a situation. You know, it was one of the things that I talked about when we had the Michael Sam conversation. He's on the team. You know, he's at home. He leaves his phone out. One of his homosexual friends gets his teammate's number, and now he's texting them randomly. The teammate doesn't know what's going on. He's sending them pictures, booty, whatever, right? And so now, even when the guy finds out, or the guy says, hey, look, leave me alone, I'm married, this trans guy still has a text message history that they can hold over
somebody else.
this person's head. So that's the
Yeah.
second point of it. The first point is they're not admitting who they are up front, which is causing problems specifically for people, violence. And then the other part is they're using it as a way to manipulate others. I think about Dwight Howard. I think about DJ Mr. C. They're using it. You know, we used to remember the problem in our day. I mean, you know, when we were, you know, younger, um, when we were in our 20s, the problem was thirsty females, right? But now the problem is thirsty
Right.
transgender,
Well,
right?
it,
They're looking for an opportunity to put you on blast on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat, on whatever. And I just think that that's, excuse my language, fucked
right.
up.
So,
That's my problem with that
so
community.
this is, to me, that isn't a community thing. That's a person thing. Whether they are,
No, no,
what I'm
no, 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 no.
saying.
It's a community
Listen,
thing. Here's why. Here's
listen,
why. Just give me a chance before I'm gonna let you finish. But let me tell you why I say it is a community thing. Because if you didn't think that what you were doing was wrong, why would you use it
no, no, no.
against
That, I'm not
another
saying that. What
person?
I'm saying is,
And it happens
I'm
across the
with you. What
board.
I'm saying is to your point about the first part. If you have somebody that's considered your friend and they going through your phone stealing stuff, that ain't your friend. You know that.
Yeah, but we just said they thirsty. That's the
Listen to me.
premise.
That's not your friend because that person can be homosexual, heterosexual, whatever, and they can put you in the middle of something. You know what I'm saying? Like your friend,
Sometimes you don't never
right? But
find
what I'm
out though.
saying is, let's say your friend is homosexual, and they get the phone, and they do that, and then what they say is, "Well, I got your number from," and you know, now you're in the middle of it, and somebody's at your door trying to shoot you or kill you. But that's what I'm saying. That's not your friend, whether they homo or hetero. On the flip side, though, that's a major portion for some people because they feel so strongly about not being identified with as. If you are with your woman and that's what you do, that's what you do. But in the eye of the beholder, in people's eyes, when that conversation come out, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be real hard. And I don't think everybody understands. Like, I don't have nothing.
When what comes out?
The
When what
conversation that you
comes
talk
out?
about, what, like, I'm gonna hold it over your head if you don't give me this amount of money. You know, that conversation,
Right.
it's not so much as me, the individual, not liking homosexuality, transgender. It's the pressure that I'm gonna have to deal with to prove to people that this ain't me. And I don't
Right.
think people who are selfish understand that. Like right now, I would hate to be accused of being someone that has committed sexual assault, because I will be burned at the stake.
Not just right now,
But
anytime.
right now, with all these movements that's going, it's a wrap. It's a
Right.
wrap. So, let somebody even say that we said somebody put a post up right now that says plain talk propaganda, and the host on there are homophobic. I dare somebody to do it, because
I mean, I'm fine with they have a freedom. They can put whatever they want
what's
up. That's an accusation. It's not a
watch
truth.
how it grows, and then watch
Mm-hmm.
how, like, people will run with the headline before they even get to know who the hosts are. And people who know us know that we're not homophobic. People who know, not people
But I
who
mean,
know of us,
but I
people
mean,
who know us. So,
right. But people say the same thing about, Michael Jackson. They say people that know Michael Jackson know he's not a pedophile. I mean, here's the whole point. Everything you're saying makes perfect sense in a logical world. We live in an illogical world because on the one hand, we want to say, accept us as transgender, accept us for who we are, who we want to be. But on the other hand, we say, since you have accepted me and moved forward with a sexual act with me, now I need to get paid for that.
yeah.
Unless you want me to tell everybody else. It's like whether it's Kerry Rhodes is out of the NFL for the same thing. All pro safety was out of the NFL in 3 years because his alleged gay boyfriend went and outed him.
Not a secret.
Which is what? I mean, here's the thing. I don't know either one of them. Man, ain't my place to say if
it
he is over.
it wasn't broadcast as public. I don't understand why people want to be broadcast nowadays.
What wasn't broadcast
I'm saying
in public?
people want to, like, whether or not you, but you are homophobic, homosexual, heterosexual, whatever letter or term you want to be clarified or classified as. I don't know why that's important, because it's not like you sleep with everybody.
Right.
You're only going to sleep with a few,
right.
And the person you're going to sleep with is possibly somebody that chose to sleep with you anyway. If you want to be called a man or a woman, why it's different, that's you. I don't know why other people need to make sure. You need to make sure you call me. Like, I don't understand how people get offended from that don't know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know you wanted to be a man. This is my first time meeting. But people are offended. He trying to make fun of me. He know I'm trying. No, I don't know nothing about you. I'm learning about you.
I mean, I think that's the bigger issue right there. And I take it back to when, Michael Sam, there was a player came out last week, former player for the team up in Arlington. He's on his crusade now to have, other than heterosexual men feel comfortable coming out and playing in professional sports and saying that they should be more forthcoming about it and be proud of it. And my thing is this: you wait until after you were out of the league to say it. But here's the bigger thing: why is it that you? I've made this point before. I can't walk into my workplace and say, "Hey, I'm Ghost Chase Killer, heterosexual male, and I love the ladies." I can't do that, right? But we praise them. We say, "Oh, they're brave for coming out." That took real heart to come out and admit that. You know, Malik Yoba, Lil Nas X, whoever it is. And my whole point is, what's brave about it? They just made a choice. Hell, I made a choice today to get up and put a mask on for the show. Does that make me brave?
When dealing with Russia, it does. But no, it's a choice.
The point I'm making is this: is the bigger answer at this point that we should just accept it, leave everybody alone? Because I can tell you this: the problem I have with that is they're not going to do that.
I don't.
You know,
I don't think
because
I don't think anybody should have to accept anything. Like,
no. When I say accept it, I mean, is it time to just say it's a normalized part of society and move on? Like, in other words, we just don't see it. We just move forward. You know, you walk past, you see a transgender male, you see a transgender female, and you just keep going, right? You don't, I mean, there's no conversation. Because I can tell you where I'm from, you know, there was one at work in my former employer, and made a pass at me, actually. And the first thing I did was told my boys, like, hey, watch out for that. That's not, you know what I'm saying, the situation you want to be in. Like, I had to excuse myself without being rude to get out of the scenario. And the people that invited me out to the place, I had to ask them, hey, did y'all know this was happening? Find out they didn't even invite that person. You see what I'm saying? But I walked away with like, damn, were they trying to set me up because, you know, this person was black and I'm black? Because everybody else is
right.
Hispanic, you know? And the whole point I'm making in this is I'd have felt more comfortable if you were going to come at me with a pass, say, I'm transgender and I'm interested. Because that gives me an opportunity to say to you directly, I'm not interested. And now we can still have a good time, you know, as far as enjoying this outing. But I sat at that outing for the rest of that time, uncomfortable as hell. And how do I get out of here? Because am I being rude to your friends? The point I'm making is,
am I being homophobic? Am I being rude? Like, it's a litany of
right.
that ran through your
But
mind. And
right. And the point about that is this. Again, why is it that you're hiding it if you're so proud of it? Why don't you lead with that? Why don't you tell people? That's the concern I have. You know, that community is willing to jump on a lot of people, a lot of other communities. They jump on communities of color. They jump on communities of wealth. They jump on the heterosexual community. They are willing to pounce at any given moment, right? And again, I've shared this before. It's almost to the point in this world where LGBTQ has more rights than human rights.
well, that's
my
what
problem.
Leah said. She said it's almost like being homophobic is more damaging than being racist. That's strong. That's
You know, that is probably one of the most accurate statements. And with that being said, the irony is that there's a hierarchy for things like this. Like, do we really have, because and we're going to transition in a moment because I want to get to this actually I'm gonna bring the next topic subject in with this statement. The transgender community right now is really mad at Dave Chappelle. Right. He's put out his new special on Netflix, which I thought was hilarious. Not because he made fun of transgender people, not because he made fun of black people or white people or Asian people. It's just funny because I've been a Dave Chappelle fan. He's always pushed the line and helped us laugh at the things that we really need to laugh at the most.
And he brings it up in a way to where it has to be expressed.
Yeah. So the point I'm making in this is this. So now a comedian, we saw what happened with Kevin Hart, right? And this is what Dave talks about in the stand-up. You know, you say something bad about the trans community, the gay community, the lesbian community, we cancel your show. You can't make no more money. You don't deserve to go to work. You don't deserve a job. You said something in your Twitter feed 8 years ago, you don't deserve to make no money. Okay? If that is the way the world is going to work, then I propose that everybody needs to just declare themselves LGBTQ. And that's a very tough statement to make out loud because I don't agree with any of those
So,
lifestyles.
so
Now,
why
what
does
I will say is you have a choice to do what you want to do. But my thing is, why is it that all of a sudden, if you've chosen an alternate lifestyle, you have all the say so on what people can and can't do? I thought it was about equality. I thought that's what you were looking for. Opportunities. Okay, you got the opportunities. I just saw entertainer. Her name was. It's gonna slip my mind now. They had a whole segment for on 2020 Friday night. I'll post it later. A transgender male who went female is now singing and doing concerts, tours all
right?
over the world. And there was this whole, I mean, it's like, I remember the name. Anyway, it was like, this is so empowering and she makes me feel so, I can do anything. And okay, why can't it just be that? Why does it have to be now? Well, now Dave Chappelle can't talk about us. He can't say anything about us. I don't know, man. I just feel like when you look at what's happening with Dave Chappelle's stand up, I think it's one of the best eye-opening ways to laugh at our society.
Because
He talks about Juicy Smouye, the French actor who decided to go to Subway at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of Chicago to get a sandwich and got a rope tied around his neck, bleach thrown on him, by some dudes wearing MAGA hats.
very discreet.
And he also talked about Michael Jackson and the Leaving Neverland. And he made some very good points that have been made for years. Why are you sending your children? I think it was made last week on the show. Why are you sending your children to stay with a grown man? Not related to you. You only sending there because he's rich. And now, years after it allegedly happened, years after he's died, now you want to come out and say, yeah, we were victims and this was traumatizing. It's not that I'm trying to say that it didn't happen, couldn't have happened, or that you're wrong for feeling that way. But it sure sounds fishy. And what the point Dave was making was like, I mean, really? Like, are we gonna make a deal out of it? It's not that he's saying that pedophilia is okay. He talked about R. Kelly. He talked about a whole bunch of different things. He's always done that. But the point is, you sit in your corner and you laugh about this same shit, right? You make the R. Kelly jokes. You make the Bill Cosby jokes. I'm talking about us as a society, right? We make the jokes about, I don't think Wendy Williams is an attractive woman, but, Wendy Williams puts herself out there. I had to commend her when she got into her situation with her husband. She was like, I want to keep this private, but I never let anybody else's situation stay private. So I understand people are going to talk about it. Some of these people need to take the Wendy Williams approach.
Hey, you talking about?
I'm going to take that approach. I ain't got nothing to say about none of them no more. Huh?
Take your medicine.
Talking about what? I think that's what the moral of the story is. Do we all just need to take our own medicine? We all, you know what I'm saying? If you go through the, I know if I go through my film, it's just some shit I don't want people to know about. You understand what I'm saying? And it's not because I hurt anybody, or it's not because it makes me a lesser person. It's just that, hey, if I had to do that over, I wouldn't have done that.
Right.
You know what I mean? The team up in Arlington right now is trying to get their starting running back to show up, right? I'm sure they wish they hadn't done that, but I'm sure he wishes he hadn't done some things too. Then he wouldn't have to be having an argument about how much he's, worth. But the point I'm making here is that it's a sad day that comedians can't be comedians anymore. That's how bad. When you talk about what you said, the movements, Me Too, you talk about the LGBTQ community and their movements, it's almost like we have forgotten about being men and women. Life is much bigger than being men and women, because if we just left it at being men and women, it'll be a lot easier to accept each other for who we are. If you're a gay man, you're a gay woman, you're a gay man, you're a gay woman. But why do you need to put it on blast? Why does everybody need to know that you're a gay man or a gay woman? But I can't let everybody know that I'm a straight man. I get caught in for sexual harassment is what I get.
Because you don't have anything to worry about. You haven't been done. Nothing
Right.
has been done to you. you don't have any
Right.
body against you.
Yeah, because I wasn't alive during slavery, so I can't really have a
So
feeling about
basically,
it,
you need to
right?
get over it. Yeah,
I need to get over it.
but
But what I'm saying is, do they need to get over it, or do we need to get over it, or are there sides? Should everybody just get over it and we just move on forward? Okay, you know what? It's a world where there's trans, this, that, the other. My thing is just, again, I just feel like if you walk up to me present yourself as a woman and you're not a woman, I deserve the right to know that. I wouldn't walk up to a guy, if I were a guy who wants to be a woman, and say, oh, yeah, I'm a woman. I don't know. I just find something very odd with that. Why is it that you're so proud to be trans, except when it's time to be transparent?
Question, message. Why is it, or why are you proud to be trans but not transparent? Soon to come,
Right.
possibly on a T-shirt.
It just would help me understand a lot better as to why we have to, I guess, make special rules for certain groups, because even in Dave Chappelle's special, which we're talking about, there was a dialogue where he talked about a woman not understanding his plight as a black man, and this woman being, if I remember correctly, this woman being LGBTQ, and or maybe it was like an immigrant or something. I forget the whole story, but at the end of the day, the point is, he had to make it known to her that, okay, I'm not a nigger, but it was on calling out, right? Fag, nigger. What's the difference in the two?
In him,
I'm not that. I'm not that
in him,
homosexual slur.
in him saying the word. He said what
Right.
he said was, he was making it was a joke, and he said the word faggot. And
Right. There we go.
he was getting fined, and the FCC was like, you can't say the word because you're not one. He said, what's the difference in me saying that and saying the word nigga? I can say nigga for times and y'all don't say nothing about it. And she's like, well, Dave, and he's like, no, I don't, because I ain't no nigga either.
I ain't a nigga either. Right.
So it's
and that's the whole point. That's the whole
message.
point. Yeah.
Why?
That's the whole point. I mean, when you look at, I think that ultimately this Dave Chappelle stand-up is probably gonna go down as one of his best when it's all said and done. As people start actually seeing it for themselves, I hope, if you haven't seen it, I hope you go check it out. He really spit some real knowledge, and he did it in a way that, at the end of the day, if we can't laugh at ourselves, we definitely ain't got no future. And I think that that's the place that comedians play. Real quick side note, get well Kevin Hart, for the accident that he had over the weekend. But when I look at a guy like Dave Chappelle, I'm thankful for him. They talk about him as the modern day Richard Pryor. We need that. Eddie Murphy used to use faggot all the time, and Raw, Delirious, all of them, and we laugh like. But I guess now, because there's more of acceptance for the community, we have to stop. No, you can't. And again, it's just like women call each other bitches. Gay people call each other fag. I know this because I know gay people who tell me they do it. And the thing about it is like, you want us to not use that term towards you, but you don't have no problem using the term nigga towards us.
At all.
I hear gay men call women bitch all the time. And women dismiss it. That's my friend. I find that odd. So again, along the lines with Jesse Smollett, and all the other French actors out there, who are trying to get attention, I just wonder, should the rest of us stop giving them the attention? Just move on. Don't see it. and hope that if they come towards us, they'll at least be transparent about who they are so that we can at least say, well, I'm not interested in
Well,
that.
we're going to do just that. We're going to stop giving them attention. We're going to move on. Now,
I feel like that's the only thing we can do.
I think the whole of this conversation is that a lot of people are scared to make mistakes, and too many people are being given things now without any repercussion. So people think they do what they want to, and you got to accept it. And the reason why I go into that, because I know we're going to go to the sports world. I just got I had a story that was just sent to me, and it's on the Plain Talk Propaganda page along with the Dante's Plain Talk Propaganda page. There was a high school student in a football game that headbutted the referee. High school football player headbutt the referee. And the problem I have with it is that I don't know if the referee said anything to the kid, but the referee didn't walk up on the kid. The kid walked up on the referee. So regardless of what the conversation is, you went to that problem. You didn't walk away. You didn't tell it to get out of your face. As the person, as the athlete that's supposed to be learning sportsmanship, you walked up to him. Possibly you said something smart and he said something smart back to you. And it looked like an adult. It didn't look like a young referee. You headbutted him.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want you on my team? Because to me, that's a selfish act. But getting some penalties are selfish, but that's in the game. If you hit somebody out of bounds late, that's frustrating. That's a selfish play. But to take physical action toward a referee who does not have the same protection on that you do, I don't know how I could deal with you as a player. You most definitely, to me, should be suspended. I don't know for how long. I mean, because we all make mistakes. And like I said, I don't know what the referee actually said to that individual, but to put your hands on somebody, to put your helmet, because his helmet was on and he headbutted the ref in the side of the head. And I'm like, that's not even safe for the person you playing against. Like, they blow the whistle when the helmet comes off now. So why would you take that time to hit? Like, are you really that mad? Do you have that much anger? On the flip side, the petty side, every time I get up and I turn on social media, I see somebody like me getting shot. I see somebody like me getting choked. I see somebody like me getting done very wrong by people in authoritative positions. At that time, you might have been that person in that authoritative position that I wasn't going to take it from. But I wonder if that kid was LGBTQ or any other term that you want to classify, if anything would happen to him. That's the petty.
That's a good question.
The game, it was Dayton. I don't know if it was Dayton, Ohio or Dayton, Texas, for those who want to know. But the story is on Plain Talk Propaganda. You can go and check it out. What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't think much about it. I don't know a lot about it, so I don't want to say too much. I think it's, just anecdotally, it's real easy to say, yeah, you can't headbutt nobody with a helmet on.
As a
but
hard-hitting football player who plays the game between the lines, regardless of what somebody say to you, how do you feel?
Well, I mean, again, I don't want to come in too much because I wasn't there. I will say this. You talked about how long should he be suspended? Should he be suspended? People make mistakes. I watched Nick Saban speak passionately a couple of days ago about players who make mistakes. He used the example of Muhsin Muhammad, who was a player for him at Michigan State, moved on to play 15 years for the Carolina Panthers, very successful family man. He made a mistake in college. And at that time, they told Nick Saban, you got to put him out. And had Nick Saban listened to him, Muhsin maybe doesn't become the productive member of society that he is today. I think that we all make mistakes. I can tell you, I've made silly mistakes, not on the football field, thankfully. I was very composed on the football field. But in the classroom, I did some really silly things. Um, I threatened to throw a student out a window, and when he continued to make jokes, I grabbed his whole bag and threw it out and told him he was next. And that didn't go over too well. It was basically a terroristic threat, is what it was. I got lucky. I was 11 years old, and it didn't go any further than that, except I got some really good talking tos, some
Right.
lectures. We all make mistakes. For that kid, I think there's definitely, some retribution that's gonna have to be paid. Do you put him out for the season? I don't know. Depends on what year he is. I think, reasonable, just thinking out loud. If you push me into a corner, I say, yeah, he got to sit out the next 2 games, and probably is going to have to again pay some type of restitution, not only to the official but to the school district. I think it's only right. But that gives him an opportunity to learn from his mistake, but also continue to pursue his passion, because you don't know who he could ultimately be down the line. And again, some of the people that we look at today made some very critical mistakes. We look at them as heroes today. They made some very critical mistakes. I remember once upon a time, Ray Lewis was the worst
Right.
man in the world. Um, so I'm just saying, like, not knowing the whole story, I think that, yeah, he's going to have to pay for what he did. I don't think it should be again, going back to the whole cancellation mentality. If he committed a crime and criminal charges are pursued and they ultimately go through the courts and against him, then he has to do that. But if you think about the way the system is supposed to work, if you do a crime and you do your time, you're supposed to be forgiven and able to go back out. That's just not the way the world works. And for him to be a young man, not an adult yet, to have that happen to him as a child could send him down a very dark path as he moves into adulthood if it's not
Right.
handled properly. So if I had more details about it, I'd have a stronger opinion. But today I'm just going to give a general response that, yes, he should have to pay some restitution. There's going to be some things that he's going to have to do to reconcile the situation. I do think he deserves an opportunity to get another chance, because he may be able to help that next student who's going to go off that way not take
But
that
I
path.
think he's gonna most definitely probably pay something to his team. I don't know the law as to where he is, because, like you say, I got the story as soon as I was logging on to start the show. I know there is a law that assists referees with certain things, so I can hope and pray that a kid doesn't get in a lot of trouble. Uh,
Well, we do know this: skin color matters. So I don't know anything about the
but looking
kid's
at the
skin
video,
color. But if it's brown or black, that's probably not going to be. He'll probably get the
looking at
maximum
looking
sentence
at
for
the
whatever
video,
it is.
both individuals were African American or black. Their skin tone was close to mine. So I don't know.
Well, hopefully the referee can find a way to work with the system and work with the young man
Right.
to help him come out of this. I can tell you this: I've seen some disrespectful acts from children to adults, but being a person who had the opportunity to be forgiven by an adult for something that I did as a child, um, it means a
Well,
lot.
it does
It means
happen
a lot.
because, like you said, it's a child. I don't know if he's 17, 18, or whatever it's considered, but he's a child because, we forgive adults every day. Because I just found out, like, a couple of minutes ago, that there's this one guy that's an actor back in the day named Malik Yoba who slept with underage transgender women. So that's neither here nor there, which means he
Right.
slept with an underage man. And, you know,
Right.
hey, anyway.
Allegedly, that's allegedly. Let's
Oh,
make sure we
I
attach.
forgot to sentence.
Plain talk propaganda wasn't there, so we can't say he did it. That's the
Right.
allegation
So I was
that he did it
more so saying about
twice.
the giving a second chance, because I think Malik Yoba is now on TV from his secret alleged.
I mean, I don't think because you gay, transgender, lesbian, bisexual, you don't deserve to work. No, I just don't subscribe to that at all. But I also don't subscribe to if you are black and you have an opinion about another community, considering the fact how marginalized our community has been as a systemic right in this country until it had to be abolished. You know, I don't think we should not, be pushed out of our work either for having thoughts on other communities, because let's just be honest, the entire world has a thought
Oh,
on our community. And that don't matter if you gay,
Because
straight, or
even though
not.
you can take a team to the Super Bowl and then back again to the playoffs and lose like one game for the Super Bowl, you're not good enough to play quarterback. But a guy who has been injured multiple times, who hasn't even won a multiple of 7 games throughout his career, is now the backup and has a better contract. That's neither here nor there. You know.
Yeah, it's the way of the world, the way of this
But
world. But again, like I say, those are issues that don't deserve as much attention. We need to make sure we focus on why I want to be a woman in my next life.
oh,
That's what it is. That's more important than the actual misdeeds than the young man who got shot in his back 2 weeks ago while he was pulling up his shorts.
he's a threat.
That
Not
Yeah, he
like
was
the
a
guy
threat.
who killed
But
3 people, was running around naked and still grabbing people, and the cops were actually running from him. That
running
has
from
nothing to
him.
do with it. Oh, what up, Marco? That is not a masked wrestler. That is Ghost Chase Killer, coming from an undisclosed
Ghost Chase
location.
Killer.
So
Yes, sir. And we surely appreciate
since
you
we
tuning
going
in again.
now, I'm gonna tell you, we were asked to talk about music,
Okay, that's true.
but it's a different day and age right now. It's a different time. It's one of my most favorite times of the year. So we started the show off.
Oh man, I'd rather let Lonzo Ball talk about music than watch you put on that hat, man. Is that even a hat? What is that? A toilet you
Huh?
got? What's
Huh?
that? A porta potty you putting
Huh?
on your head?
You, you're
Oh,
breaking up,
brother.
son. I can't. I
I
think
figured I
they're
was.
tapping into your location.
No, they
We're
can't
gonna
find
talk
me.
about football. It was a very good.
Let's go.
Of course, we do pros because college is it's a lot to talk about when it comes to college football. Still, big ups to the Prairie University with the win. Um, it looks like
Shout out to Jalen Hurts. I
I
gotta
was
say
right
that.
there. We on the same way. Jalen Hurts, good way to come out and show your skills. But U of H, I'm gonna tell y'all something. Y'all better watch them. They still, even though they had a couple of mistakes here and there, they still look good. Um, there are a couple of people that got hurt. There are a couple of people who are ranked high that don't look like they're gonna do anything, but it is still early in the season. But we're gonna go to the NFL, which means not for long. You don't have a long time to be on the top of the mountain unless you are the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, New England Patriots, who've been on top. Seems like forever. Um, Predictions. We
We
made
made
them.
them.
Uh, I,
Apparently,
I
way
don't
too early.
know. What show was that?
That was
So
3 shows
okay,
ago.
so NFC, my NFC people. NFC East, I'm still gonna go with the Dallas Cowboys. NFC West, with the addition of Jadeveon Clowney to the Seattle Seahawks, it's still a toss up because who do the Rams have? The Rams have some. They added somebody. I don't know if it was the Rams or the Chargers that added somebody. I think it was a safety that they added. Oh, the Rams added Eric Weddle. So to an already bolstered
Mm-hmm.
secondary, I think the Rams still have the nod. Cam Newton foot injury is going to be a problem. I don't know how healthy Greg Olsen is because he always is Cam's number one guy,
Hurt.
but that foot has always been a problem. So the Saints coming out the NFC South, the Rams, and I put more trust in Russell Wilson than I do Jared Goff. So I'm gonna go Seahawks, Cowboys, Saints, and who's the NFC? Who's the South? Who's the East? Who's the West? The North. Um, you have the Packers. Oh, Chicago Bears. Those are my teams that are gonna make some noise. In the AFC, can't vote against the Patriots. Cleveland Browns. I still think the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs. Those are the teams coming out the AFC. NFC Championship.
You still got 2 wild cards on
They
your
ain't gonna do
side.
that.
Okay.
NFC Championship. Well, let's say, okay, you talking about the wild card game on the East and wild card game on the
No, well, you just did the 4
okay.
division winners, but you get 2
Okay,
wild cards. The 6 teams go to the
so for the
playoffs on your side.
NFC, I will go. I'm gonna have to go the Rams and the Panthers.
Interesting.
For the AFC, it's gonna be the Raiders and the Jets.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
The only thing that comes with the play, but I like the Raiders, and that's me picking them over the Chargers.
Over the Texans?
Oh yeah,
You're picking them over quite a few teams.
the Texans ain't showing me nothing. They got a solidified running back right now, and now while they bolstered the line, they let a lot go with the Davian Clowney leaving.
No, they
What they
didn't.
did to me.
It's the best move they could have made was letting him go. Oh, you talking about what they gave
I'm
up?
talking about him being out the lineup, because with him in the lineup on one side and J.J. Watt on the other, now J.J. Watt is still the man. He's still, but I don't know. I want to see somebody match J.J. on the opposite side, which will free up a lot.
It ain't like Jadeveon Clowney did that. It's hard to match J.J. Watt, but I guess that's neither here nor there. That's your opinion. I can
So
respect.
what you got?
Well, I wasn't prepared to pick teams today, but since you put me under the gun, I
What you
think.
got?
Well, I was really thinking about some of the things that have happened since we made our last predictions. And for example, the NFL starts Thursday night. The first game is Green Bay versus Chicago. And it sounds like, by the look, if you just watching TV and listening to the media, it sounds like Aaron Rodgers is no longer a
Like he
quarterback in the
forgot how to play
NFL.
because he didn't play in the preseason. That's dumb. That's dumb.
Well, I'm just saying, he's got a new coach, and if the coach can't do well enough, he's going to be out of town, just like his last 2 coaches. So I just thought that was an interesting take on things. You just all of a sudden, going to write the man off as if he's not one of the perennial best players at the position and a Super Bowl champion already. Now, what I was going to ask is, do you think Jacoby Brissett is ready for this role? Is he the answer?
We'll see week 3. I think he is ready for the role. Hopefully the other teammates buy into him being the starter, because Andrew Luck has been given.
They don't have a choice,
right?
now.
But they got a choice, because they can lay down if they want to.
That'd be a cold thing to do on a football field.
People
though.
can make that decision. Like, I don't want him. I want Andrew Luck. Like, people can say that. I think Andrew Luck has been given the nod because of how he interacted on the field. Like, at first I thought it was an act, like him trying to be methodical and mess with people's head when he said good tackle, but that's what he does.
That's who he is.
So I think that everybody like, man, that dude really is tough. Like I tried to blast his spleen out his back, and he just told me, good job, keep coming, and he keeps throwing touchdowns, and he keeps coming at me. So still, though, to those people who booed Andrew Luck, I'm not gonna say, because I don't want to be. I wouldn't tell them to harm themselves, but go.
Well, there's going to be a Plain Talk Propaganda Bowl prediction
Don't
that I
kick
want to
concrete
make.
with barefoot though. Don't do that.
I believe that Manning will be the quarterback in Indianapolis by week 6.
Eli.
Eli Manning. I believe that that's the only outcome that we're gonna. They're pushing for Daniel Jones. I'm not sure that Daniel Jones is ready or the guy, but we'll see. But I think that it's been pretty evident that they want to do everything they can to move on from Eli Manning. I think the story just works for everybody. If Jacoby Brissett doesn't do well, which I'm not rooting for him to not do well, to not do well, I think that he has all the tools and ability. But it's the NFL, and he's now had to prepare on a very shorter schedule than it would have been if Andrew Luck had retired before training camp started. So that's just one of my conspiracy theories. I think that they put a Manning jersey back on in Indianapolis, and Daniel Jones gets the starting job by week 6
for the New York Giants. Ali.
Yes.
What has Brian Hoyer won? Thank you.
Not a damn thing. I don't understand how you pay him that much money. Why you even give him a multi-year contract? Now, yes, is he a veteran? Yeah, he is. And so I know that there are stipulations on how much they should have to pay and things like that. But my goodness, there are better players out there. I just believe that wholeheartedly.
Colin Kaepernick did what? Oh, never mind. They'll comment.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you think Colin Kaepernick can still play football at the NFL level? He's been out of the league 3 years now.
Yeah. He's healthy. He's been out of the league 3 years now.
I'm not going to speak so quickly. It's the NFL. It's not like the NBA.
I didn't say he could start.
You can get.
This is my. A lot of the people that are backups, they're not healthy anyway. Like, who was that played backup for Philadelphia right now? He came in as a backup, and he got hurt in preseason, so he back on out.
Which
means they went and got Jacksonville, Texas' own McCowan, who had retired. He retired, and they went and got him. Like, come on, man. RG3 just got back not too long ago, but he's still on the team. He never was healthy. I think Vince could have made it. I don't think Vince was healthy here. I don't think he was mentally healthy. I don't think he recovered mentally. And I think his mental block took him out of the league. Because I don't know what happened with him and Jeff Fisher. Everybody was like, it's just not right. So I do understand the missing games and not being able to be there physically, but I don't think Colin Kaepernick ever had a mental issue as to why he wasn't playing. Cam Newton played with a broke back. Who else? Somebody had a broke back last year.
Carson Wentz.
When has he been? He didn't even win the Super Bowl. He put him in prime position, but Nick Foles got him over the hump. Soon as Carson Wentz.
I mean, you can't put a knock on Carson Wentz.
No. I'm not putting a knock on him. What I'm saying is, you rush him back out there. Now look at him. Now he's back out there again, and his backup is hurt. So it keeps happening.
It's a violent game.
It is, but
injuries happen in the NFL. I mean,
I would think that it would be easier to put a guy back there who you can trust not to turn the ball over, and to be safe with your team on the field. Now,
you sound like Jason Garrett.
Ooh. Boy, I never said. Look,
you say you want to put somebody back there who's gonna be safe. That's that Arlington Cowboys mentality.
Man, I just called you a boy, man. Let me apologize.
You all good? You all good? You got that hat on. You can't think straight. Look here. Here's one more bold prediction. You probably heard it already. If the Arlington Cowboys win less than 9 games means what, 8-8 or worse record, Lincoln Riley to be head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. That's what the grumblings. That's what the drumbeat is going to be around week 6, week 7 if the Cowboys got a 2-4 record, 3-3 record. Lincoln Riley, head coach, Dallas Cowboys. Could you imagine Lincoln Riley with Dak Prescott at quarterback and potentially Ezekiel Elliott at running back, Amari Cooper?
Offensively, that would be nice. Is this contingent upon him having a good season this year at Oklahoma, or is this just period?
I don't think there's any more questions about what kind of seasons he's going to have. Have you seen what he's done with the last 3 quarterbacks that were in his system?
Yes.
That's just one that I'm throwing out there. It's been stated by others too, but I think that's a bold take that I'm willing to stand on. Also, Manning to Indianapolis somehow, someway.
I'm loving it. Hey, you see what time it is. I know y'all like hanging with us, but we can't give it up.
Hot dog.
So, in the spirit of what we do every Tuesday at 8 p.m., it's your boy, DJ Dunn P. P stands for petty. Twice on Sunday, 3 times on Monday, and also stands for never been a pedophile.
I don't even know how to follow that up. But it's your boy Ghost Chase Killer, and I'm gonna be back in the States next week. We're gonna be right back here, same time, same channel. I do like these shiny Plain Talk shirts, man. These they blinging. You know what I'm saying? I love it. And man, y'all have a blessed week. I like that. What's that right there?
D-Lo.
That's D-Lo? I like that. One day DJ Don P will start dropping that music again for us, so we can jam it too.
That's what we're gonna do.
Look like the comments was jumping. I'm out. What's next week? Won't be too long for them boys. Bring the clap on them. Clap on them. Clap on them.
And we out.
Out.